What about there? Not showing anything. Why not? Ah, show the main screen. I think I've got it now. There we go. Please do tell me you see the presentation now. Yes, awesome. Fantastic. Okay, so just because I was not recording before, so then again, welcome everyone to today's webinar. Are you dressing up and covering up? And the reason I'm decided to run this webinar is because it's been a common conversation that was happening with some intensives I was running with my clients in the past 2 weeks, and it was coming up quite wide as a common conversation for all women. At the end, it was, oh my God, I was hiding behind my clothes. So I thought I really want to just bring up this topic and just show you the importance of being visible to yourself and others, and how using your clothes to express yourself is so much more powerful than you're thinking. And as I mentioned just before, I have a super special offer and invitation at the end of this webinar, so make sure you stay in, because this is just available for women on these webinars. So welcome again. I am super excited to be here with you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Alba Gomez, a style and personal brand coach and mentor, and it is my absolute passion work with professional women and business owners, helping you stand out with confidence and be visible and be able to attract all those beautiful opportunities to you. So let's get started here today. So before I get started, I want you to understand that there is a science behind absolutely everything I speak about. I am an engineer, so that's my background, and I have a very logic brain. So when I decided to make my transition from my corporate professional career as an engineer into this realm of style, personal branding, and first impressions, it was very fascinating for me to understand there's such a big science behind absolutely everything that we're going to be covering today and everything that I speak about, generally speaking. So you know, this is not my personal perception. I am never going to be saying so. I will tell you when it's my opinion, but there is a science behind everything I speak about, and I'm fascinated by it, and I am obsessed with it. I love learning, so I have made like a big investment of time and effort and money over the last probably 12 years since I moved to Australia into learning everything I have possibly been able to learn about personal branding, style, first impressions, body language, and I absolutely love all these things. So if you don't know, I am from Colombia, hence my very strong accent. I make my best to speak slowly, but I get so passionate that sometimes I get a little bit carried away. So with that, let's get started. One of the reasons I get so passionate about working with your personal brand and your style is because when we maximize and when we draft a personal brand that is fully 100% us, we get to use who we are to get what we want. I do not say this in a manipulative way. I talk a lot about influencing, but I am all about you being authentic, genuine, and true to who you are. So everything I speak about is coming from a very genuine and authentic way. I cannot take fake at all. Using who you are to get what you want means you become you, and you become you so uniquely and authentically you that you draw people magnetically to actually want to know more about you. And I know you can think now about a person that you just met, and when you left that conversation, you went thinking, wow, that was such a great conversation. So when you are remembered, you are actually kind of going and saying, remember me for an opportunity, if it is in the corporate world for a promotion, if it's in your own business for new clients, if it is with finding a new partner to be noticed by that partner, and it's actually just using who we are in a very authentic and genuine way and just becoming our best version. So even though we're going to be speaking here about style and personal brand, and my personal brand, I actually just talk about you. You are your personal brand. I want you to understand that this is so much more deep than just the skin deep. And we're talking about the essence of what makes you you, that unique, capable, intelligent, and confident woman that maybe at the moment is a little bit lost, and then probably you're not feeling as confident or as visible as you wanted to. Before I keep going, I just gonna make sure I mention this. You might see me and you might think, well, it's easy for you because you're young, you're so confident, you've been successful. Before you make any assumptions, and if you don't know much of my story, I want just to briefly, very quickly mention that I moved to Australia 12 years ago. I couldn't speak the language and I absolutely started from zero. No money, no friends, and I went through divorce when I was here and I lost absolutely everything. Also growing up, I grew up with a lot of lack of self-confidence, self-belief. I always felt inappropriate. I wasn't a very good-looking kid, and I was bullied because of my thick glasses, my braces. I was ultra skinny. Anyway, what I want to make a point of this is I want you to understand that I have been able to transform my image, my style, and my personal brand to become a confident woman who knows how to present herself in a way that is me, absolutely me. So I am not here to change you and to ask you to wear my big earrings or to wear your hair like I do or to wear high heels like I love to. What I am here to share with you is that when you actually allow yourself to step into your best version, you become your best self with your own style, personality, with your own strengths, with your own weaknesses, with your own story. It doesn't really matter where you are at today in your life, and professionally speaking, you are always able to become that woman who is capable to stand out and be visible. And I'm going to be sharing with you today how you can start working on that and how I have helped my clients create the transformations from themselves. So let's get into our first slide there. And I know you all, within a few seconds, will be able to actually, hang on a second, will be able to recognize the brand. And the reason why I have that there is because I want you to think of you as exactly that. Like when people hear your name, they make some associations to that name. So whatever is your impression of Mac or Apple, you will know exactly what to think of that brand. And what happens is when we establish ourselves as a brand, we then can make sure that people are thinking what we want them to think of us. And most importantly, that I love the most is that we are allowing people to know who we actually are. So whatever they're thinking is actually the best version of ourselves. What happened and what is it important to create a brand is because it helps you identify and communicate to people what makes you. Like we sometimes are so quick to think, of course I know who I am, but I can assure you, because I have worked with so many women along the last few years and even some men in the past, and it is really hard to answer that question, who are you, when you take all the labels. And it is through working to your style, with your style and personal brand, that you actually allow yourself to become more you. You stop worrying about too much about society expectations, your husband expectations, your kids expectations, your sisters and everyone, and you understand a little bit more. It's a process in which you go a little bit deeper into what makes you. When you work on your style and personal brand, and I'm saying when you work with my approach, everyone has a very different approach. I focus on helping you enhance your self-awareness so you can optimize your strengths and you can even reassess your weaknesses. It helps you clarify and help you reach your goals. I have achieved so many things in my life that are absolutely meaningless to me. And it's just by getting to know me better that I have been able to set goals for myself that are actually relevant and important when I reach them. It helps you create visibility and presence. And as I said at the beginning, when you are visible to yourself and others, then opportunities can find you. It allows you to differentiate yourself. We are living in such a busy, crowded market. And if you don't stand out, you're going to go unnoticed. You can be the most intelligent and capable woman, but if you are not making sure that you've been visible to the people you actually need to be visible to, as I said, this applies to your personal and professional life, corporate job, clients, partner, kids, everyone in your life, then you're just going to go unnoticed. You're not going to be seen. When you work on your style and personal brand, it helps you create a consistent message about who you are. And when you are creating a consistent message, you are trusted. And when you are trusted, you get to command higher fees. And it's because of all these reasons that defining your wow now personal brand, which is how I call my system, you bring abundance and wealth into your life. So when people meet you for the first time, You have under 30 seconds to create an impression of who you are to them. And when we create this impression, 55% of that impression comes through the eyes. So that is how you're dressed, your hair, your makeup, and how you use your body language. 38% is based on what we hear, that is intonation and volume. And only 7% is based on the words you actually use. So what this is showing us is these first impressions at 90%, over 90% of that impression is visual. And what we hear, so your words, if they are not aligned, if your message is not aligned with how you are presenting yourself and how you carry yourself in your present, your message is going to get lost. So I want you to think of this as when you're going to a coffee shop and you are ordering a piece of cake. So then you go and have a taste of the cake and you assume that if that first bite of the cake is delicious, you assume the rest of your piece of the cake is as good. And then the rest of the cake is as good. That's exactly what happens when people meet you for the first time. That first impression that happens in an instant, recent study shows is under a second. People will make assumptions about you. People will decide if they want to do business with you, if they want to know more about you. So that is why it's so important that we are paying attention as to how we're coming across to people. And remember, you can be the most intelligent, capable woman with the most beautiful message to share. But if you are not making yourself notice, you're going to go invisible. And why am I saying this is because I want you to start thinking, why do you think you might be hiding? Why do you think you might be going unnoticed? Because I always say that your external appearance is only just a reflection of who you are in the inside. And there's nothing wrong with you. I'm not saying there's something wrong. It's just that sometimes we probably learn from our moms that being too visible is not so great. I have noticed this quite often in Australia, how there's this tall poppy syndrome, like women are meant to stay low, to be humble, to just, go unnoticed. And I just want today to be very blunt and say there's nothing humble and good about pretending that you're not so great and awesome and that you just don't have an important message to share, or that you're not this capable, intelligent woman who can have an impact in the world. And I spent the last week in Hawaii with this amazing group of women, and we were with our coach and mentor, and we were reminded really how the whole message of the event and the training was, it was completely in alignment with what I feel, and obviously I'm still working in my own journey on that, is how just be reminded that we are ordinary women meant to have extraordinary lives. And in order for us to achieve those dreams, and I know all of you have a big dream, even if it is at home with your kids, at work in the corporate world, with your business, things that we want to achieve and do, messages we want to share. And if we still carrying those stories that we are supposed to be humble, that keep it quiet, don't blow your own horn, all these silly things that are meaningless, what is going to happen is we're going to keep living and live lives. And I can tell you from my own experience that my doubts, my fears, my indecision about saying things that I had a point of view about, or just kept me miserable. And it wasn't until I decided to trust who I am and to share who I am unapologetically with the world that I have been able to live a more meaningful life. So the reason I'm just sharing this is because wherever you are in the moment, if you are sharing, if you're hiding, and if you're too comfortable with where you are, if you're too comfortable with how you're dressing, if you're too comfortable with how you present yourself, if you're too comfortable in your position or in your role, I want you to ask yourself, what is it about it that has you hiding? And I learned this from my very first coach in business, and she said, we like a tree, are either growing or dying. And I remember I have gone through quite a bit of transformation in my life in the most uncomfortable way in the last probably 30 years of the 40 I've been in this planet. And I've been always saying, and it gets me emotional, saying, oh my God, I have so been growing because I have not been comfortable for such a long time. And the great thing about that is when we're trying and doing new things, we are going for that best version of ourselves. We're going for learning ways in which we can step up into that powerful, confident woman that you know you are, and or you want to become. So I'm getting a little bit sidetracked there because I get too excited about it. So part of all this is, remember, by you communicate who you are through your image and through your personal brand. And when you are able to get to know who you are and you create a style and personal brand that reflects the true you become more persuasive. And the reason we want to become persuasive is because you want people to consider your ideas and suggestions. You want to be persuasive to your kids, to your partner, to your colleague, to your boss, to your friends. You want to be able to communicate and be listened to, be respected, be considered that person that people listen to. And all these can be created and strengthened by the way you are using your body language, you are dressing up, the colors you're wearing, even how you do your hair and your makeup. So remember, all this that I have been talking about is to make a very strong point about the fact that there's nothing superficial about taking care of how you are presenting yourself. And it not only affects how people respond to you, but it most important affects how you see yourself. And it's completely different how you act and how you stand when you look in the mirror and you love what you see and you have come to appreciate the beautiful woman you are today. Today, not when the weight is drop off, not when you're taller, not when your hair is longer, not when your hair is blonde, not when your eyes are blue. No, we keep making these excuses as to, I'm going to do this when. Well, I'm here to tell you the day is today. The day to embrace the woman you are and how you look, no matter your size, height, background, or moment in life is today. The moment in which you decide to make the most out of who you are. Every single woman can look attractive. And your attractiveness is 80% a state of mind and 20%, probably 30, things that you can start doing differently with the colors you wear, with the styles you use, with how you carry yourself, with your body language and your presence. So let's get a little bit into how we can start just then creating that credibility and respect, and how to start being noticed, coming out of invisibility and start showing people around you, what are you made of? How capable and intelligent you are. So I want to share with you these 6 elements of your presence. And I see we're getting more people joining, so I just want to, and for those who are going to be listening to the recording, I hope the beginning was fully recorded. It took me a while to work it out how to do it. So it is important to understand that your presence is that energy that you bring with you when you enter a room. So when you enter a room, people are going to have this feeling about who you are. And as I said, that is going to be a combination of how you're looking and how you're carrying yourself. Your presence will determine your results in life. It will affect if people like you or not. It will affect if people notice you or not. And I want to share a quick story here about my first experience understanding how important presence was. And little I knew I was going to end up working with this. So I told you before, I've always been long fascinated by how people come across, how we can present ourselves by makeup, by clothes, by body language. That's a fascination I had all my life. And I started studying that ages ago. So when I was doing my work experience at university, when I was doing my degree as production engineer, I was sent to this interview with 3 of the top, how do you say that in English? I always forget. The highest grades, these 3, not that I was not intelligent, and I am a very intelligent woman, but what I'm saying is these women had 5 over 5. So they were like with honors, like absolutely brilliant women in my career, in my profession. We were, I don't know, we were probably 20, somewhere around there. And I was sent with the 3 of them to this interview. So when I arrived to the place, I was like, oh my God, why am I with these 3 ladies? But anyway, I'm going to go and be myself. And I'm just going to go into the interview. And I did the interview. Long story short, I was selected over the other 3 girls. And then I remember asking, I really wanted feedback. I wanted to understand. I thought, oh, this is pretty cool. I was selected over these 3 women. What was it? And I asked my boss, and I remember we were one day having a conversation. And I asked him, I really want to understand what was it that made you select me. And he said, very simple. You were the one with the strongest presence. And I that day understood that on addition to be a very intelligent, capable woman, we need to show on the outside that. So I see it so often, and I get passionate about helping women create that connection, like intelligent, capable women with so much to give, a presence that is not reflecting that to the world. So the elements to help you start you thinking, how can you start just creating a stronger presence, are how passionate you are. And I want to make a clarification here. I am not talking about you having to be like me. I'm not talking about you having to be extroverted, because most of my clients, oh well, half and half, are introverted. It's about you allowing yourself to communicate and be as passionate as you can. Enthusiastic. And I think enthusiasm and passionate go very close together, and also have to be that with the fact that you're doing something that you're passionate and confident about. So how captivating are you when you speak to people? Are you able to entertain? And the way you easily entertain people is by telling stories. And that's why you will see me all the time sharing content through stories, because we remember stories. That's why we love the movies. That's why we watch the soap operas and the shows, because we want a story to follow. How comfortable are you within your own skin? And our body language is always going to give us away. If you're not comfortable about speaking a topic that you might have doubts, your body language is going to reflect that to people. How authentic, as I say, I'm all for authenticity. You actually saying what you mean, you want to say. You actually, if you're caring for someone or something, coming from the heart, because authenticity can be smelled as well. And then how confident you are within your own skin. So I know, and I would love you to write down these 6 elements and score yourself from 0 to 10. 0 being obviously the lowest score and 10 being the top one. And I want you to do not underestimate the power of these 6 elements. And I can tell you that I have worked with my clients one-on-one on this simple graphic here, and these 6 elements are the key to your success, to becoming that credible, respected professional that, or leader in your industry that really allows you to be seen. And I want to share here, a couple of weeks ago, I was watching that interview to this lady. I don't remember her name, but she was sharing a study made at Harvard University, and it wasn't that long ago, probably 2 months ago, in which managers across different professions were interviewed as to why they were not promoting the women. The study came back across all the different professions and age brackets. It came as they had a lot of women under their team that were super intelligent and capable. However, they were not seen as confident for the role. So that just absolutely breaks my heart and drives me crazy, because, like all amazing women all across the world, and we are the only ones putting ourselves down. The bosses are seeing how capable and intelligent the women are, but they know they are not seen as confident. And I come from a culture, I'm lucky that to come from a culture in Colombia in which women and men were just the same. At university, engineers, we were 50-50, men and women. And when I came to Australia, I was in my position of power going into the corporate world, and I remember just being surrounded by men in my same level, managerial level. And I went to work for a Japanese company, and that was very unusual. And I thought, wow, how interesting is how we perceive ourselves. So in my head, I just wanted the next promotion, next manager. I just wanted to be my boss. But we are the only ones who we put ourselves down by having our own doubts. So I want you to think here, which of these 6 elements can be taken to the next level? And if it's confidence, I want you to know that confidence is a skill. It's not a personal trait. And I am passionate about teaching women how to become more confident. But I can tell you now that combining all these elements is what's actually going to help you feel confident. And a big element of your confidence, because usually there's nothing wrong in what is here. We are already capable, intelligent women. We are just not so confident about how we are communicating, about how we're being perceived, about how we are dressing up. So this is what we're going to be talking a little bit more here. So this is why I want you to understand that appearances matter, and that 80% of the total information we take into our brain comes through the eye. We're visual beings, and people make assumptions. We judge the book by the cover, either we like it or not. And if you are seen as groomed, that you have paid attention to how you do your hair, your makeup, your clothes, as I say, you don't have to be me. We find your own way in which you can communicate yourself. You show people you respect yourself. And studies show that when a woman or a man, this applies for everyone, has taken care of how they look, there is an assumption made that there is the same amount of attention to detail that you put into how you do things, which is amazing. It's like, it's simple. You just go and see someone who looks dirty, that is completely undressed with holes in the clothes. You just kind of instantly, either we like it or not, we start making assumptions about the person, thinking that person, you're not going to hire that person over someone who can probably communicate and look the part. So I want you to understand that appearances matter, and that people are going to make assumptions about your intelligence, your social position, which is not irrelevant probably, but how capable and professional and how much attention you're going to put into things that you do. So as I promised, when you subscribe to this webinar, I said I wanted to talk a little bit about color, because color is probably one of the easiest tools and strongest ways of communicate more confidence. I talk a lot about wearing a lot of black and hiding behind black, and the reason I say that is because from my personal experience working with hundreds and hundreds of women, I see it all the time. I don't have anything against black. I love black and I own a lot of black, but I think there's ways in which you can wear black to hide, and there's ways in which you can wear black just to really, enjoy it. And also what I see is the fit. We're not going to go too much into that, but I also see a lot of women hiding behind sizes that are one or two sizes bigger for them in an attempt to hide their big hips, or an attempt to hide X or Y part of your body. So just one second. What I have to say about that is black doesn't necessarily make you look slimmer, and wearing sizes that are bigger than what you actually need is going to make you look even bigger. So going back to how we started this conversation today, it was about, why are you hiding? Are you getting too comfortable going back to the same 4 outfits over and over again? Are you standing in front of your wardrobe full of clothes, feeling you have nothing to wear because you're going back to the same things? The studies shows women tend to use only 20% of the wardrobes 80% of the time. We get comfortable using the same thing. We don't take the time to declutter our wardrobes. I also hear this a lot. I'm okay with my corporate wardrobe, but on the weekends, I don't know how to dress. And nothing kills me more to hear women thinking they have to wear X or Y sort of uniform, black jacket with white shirt, to look as a credible professional woman. My passion and obviously my knowledge is all about how you can create a visual image that represents who you are without having to lose who you are in the process. And that's what I've noticed through my experiences. We get feeling that we have to dress like the standard of the corporate world, we have to dress like X or Y, and we start forgetting that we have a saying here, and that when you acquire that knowledge, when you understand how colors work, how styles work, when you understand how you naturally come across, it's very easy to then balance elements. So I'm going to share a couple of concepts here that are very simple but are very powerful. Do not be misled by the simplicity of some of this information. It's quite powerful. So the contrast level is something that is really important when we're dressing. Our brain literally picks up contrast when we see contrast with people. By contrast, I mean the contrast between two colors that you put together. So for example, this blue top with my skin, and as you can see in the 3 pictures, the contrast between the 2 layers or between the colors of the dress and the skin. So if we look at the first picture on the left, we find low contrast. So that is when we put 2 colors very close together. 2 colors together very close to each other, either 2 dark colors or 2 light colors. So you can see in the pictures. When the contrast is low, the brain struggles to find the contrast. So because the contrast is low and the brain is not picking it up easily, you can go under the radar. You can know unnoticed. So especially around the face, when the contrast is low, you can just go under the radar. So that is not the best contrast level to wear when you're going to an interview, when you're going to a networking event. Now, on the second picture, we have medium contrast. And medium contrast is when we put a dark and a light color together. Black and white, a dark blue and a light blue, a dark green and a light green. Medium contrast level is considered the most people-friendly and appropriate. It's the precise amount of contrast that the brain picks up and gets engaged is always appropriate. Blue is considered the most people-friendly. I'm wearing blue today. It's just this one of the really good colors for my eyes as well. And then we have high contrast, that is when we put two colors that are completely opposite to each other, like we have in the examples there in the bottom little circles and in the lady with the orange, pink, no, orange, purple, and green. When we create high contrast, we create that impression of a lot of creativity, taking away a little bit from your credibility. So I want you to understand two concepts. Feminine is here, and on the other side we have credible. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. It's just that I want you to understand that the more feminine you look, the less credible you look. The more credible you look, the less feminine you look. So as I said, nothing wrong here. I just want you to understand the concept. Low contrast makes you look more feminine, less credible. A little bit of a medium contrast is a little bit more credible. So let me continue with the story so you can start putting all the elements together. Oh, I wanted to share this with you because this is a fantastic story to actually show how just changing a little bit of the level of contrast that you wear can make you be seen and noticed. So this is my client, absolutely beautiful client, Denise. When I met Denise, she just had moved from New Zealand into Australia, and we started working together. I went into her wardrobe. We did the whole process. We defined her presence, how she was coming across. We worked on her colors, on her style. We went through the whole process, and at the end, we went into her wardrobe. And it was quite fascinating to see she had a full wardrobe of grays and blacks and white, light grays. Anything from white to light gray to black with no color at all. And then she says here, defining my now personal brand was great. I fine-tuned my outer image with my inner strengths and personal essence, which is my absolute passion. I have now the confidence to feel and look the part and have created a wardrobe with no black. Well, what she means is she started buying lots of colors that went to work with her black. I have been successful in obtaining the internet promotion I was seeking, and I am now manager corporate services, overseeing a staff of 30 people. That was his dream. When she came to me, she said, I want the promotion. There's like 5 women who want the promotion. I just joined the company. I'm going to apply. I want to get it. And that is what, when you work on your presence, and that's one powerful thing. There's 2 types of work, invisible work and visible work. Denise have been doing a lot of invisible work, meaning she was really good at what she was doing. She was not being seen. What we did together by working, what she did by working together was creating a visible presence. Her colleagues and her bosses started seeing who she was and what she was bringing into the business, because she changed how she felt about herself. She stopped being scared of coming across to people, of making comments. She changed the color, she changed the style, she changed her presence. And the even most exciting bit about this is, while we were working together and we were working on her essence and reconnecting to who she actually was, she identified she wanted to be working on a different industry. And not that long after, probably within the first 9 months after we worked together, she sent me an email saying she had got her dream job, which was working for the museum and the Arts and Cultural Center. So that is the power of actually you really showing on the outside the capable, intelligent woman you are on the inside. So now, as I was explaining with the colors, I want you to understand that also styles can help you create that feminine or credible look. So on the left, we have a couple of pictures of more credible styles. So when we talk about credibility, we talk about styles that are a little bit more fitted. So let's say they mimic more a male suit without having to be a black suit with a white shirt. So we have 2 pictures there. On the left, we have a more structured jacket with a dress with stripes. And then on the right, we have a colorful kind of suit, a coordinated suit. And then we have a loose jacket with a little bit of a pair of pants that have wide leg. I want you to understand that between these 2 pictures, I hope you can see it, the left one is more credible. And the reason for that is because it's a little bit more structured. The one on the right is a little bit more loose. The more loose an outfit it is, the more away from the skin it is, less structured, the more it takes away from the credibility. So you can still create credible outfits wearing colors, playing with accessories, wearing makeup. In fact, wearing makeup makes you look as more professional. But when we look on the right, we have a little bit of frills, a little bit of a bow, a little bit of a flowery. These styles are more feminine. So then again, feminine is less credible, credible is less feminine. So you need to understand how you naturally come across, and then you need to understand what styles and colors are going to balance how you naturally come across. So then you know, and then you decide, obviously, you understand how you want to come across more of one of the others. So it's not about losing who you are. It's not about changing who you are. It's even more authentic because you understand more about who you are and how you're coming across. And then you acquire all the knowledge you need. And I equip you with all this information to teach you what are the styles and colors that are going to help you create that impression that you actually decided to create. So, oops. Okay. As I said before, there's also that, the colors, the style, and we need to link with the body language. So I'm going to share the most simple and underestimated for my 4 top body language tips with you. So the first one, your posture. Super important. There's so many things I could say about this, but I do think you probably know, obviously, like when we are standing tall, it changes the hormonal balance. It changes how we see ourselves. It changes how people perceive us. If I sit here like this, and there's a lot of studies that show how that actually changes how you see yourself. I'm going to be perceived completely different than if I stand here tall, confident, knowing that I know what I'm talking about and I'm confident with what I'm saying. If you don't feel confident, then just fix your posture. Act as if, fake it until you make it. I truly believe in it. Smile. There's so many studies that also show the power of a smile, and sounds so simple yet is so forgotten. I know life can be hard. There's so many things going through our mind, but connect with people. One of the easiest way human beings need to connect through a smile. No one will frown at you when you smile at them. So make a point of being a little bit more of in the present moment. Acknowledge people when you meet them and smile at them. Make eye contact. Like, it's so amazingly and unbelievable how we just don't make eye contact anymore. And I notice these things, obviously, because this is my specialty, but you making eye contact with someone, especially when you are meeting someone for the first time, and shaking hands is super important. You are giving that person for a second 100% of your mind. You are saying, you are important to me. I'm going to meet you here. I'm going to remember your name as well. So, as I said, it's so simple, and there's so many other ways we could talk about body language, but I can tell you these 4 are so simple yet so forgotten. Creating first impression is going to get you a long way. Be the woman who gets to a meeting and is the first one to say, "Hi, how are you? My name is Alba. Very nice to meet you." Show how confident you are. Women, I read a study ages ago that said that women who give stronger handshakes make more money. Be that confident person that goes ahead, obviously, depending on how serious the situation. I don't go everyone shaking hands, but if I am, for example, in the city, in the corporate world, doing a presentation, I just go and shake hands with people. I am a hugger, but I very well know who I hug and kiss and who I shake hands with. But what I'm saying is, be that confident woman who look at people in the eye, introduce yourself with confidence, stand tall, and from that position, communicate with people. You are going to change so much how people perceive you. And remember, perceptions are everything. And I want you to start changing the perception from you inside out. Like, you start seeing yourself in the mirror and say, "Yes, I love you. Alba, I really love you. I appreciate the woman you are." Decide to love the woman you are today. And from that position, start sharing. Being confident in a way is just sharing unapologetically who you are. Stop doubting yourself so much. Stop just not wondering so much what people going to think of you, and just share a little bit more of your energy. Be more generous with sharing who you are. As I said, this is not about telling people about your life. This is not about being one way or another. This is you probably being more generous, sharing with people who you are, so they get to know you, they get to connect with you. That's how you're going to be remembered. And coming back to the credibility and approachability, I want to share another story that illustrates the point very easily. So this is my client, Lisa. And Lisa came to me because she was sick of not being taken seriously. She's a partner in a corporate, in a corporate real estate company. And she was just going to all these meetings with his partner in business, who is a male Australian. And she's like, everyone takes me like the PA. No one is taking me seriously. So what we did with Lisa was to analyze how she was coming across naturally, as I said. So as you can see, she's got very soft and feminine features. She has a low volume in her voice, and she loved the low contrast and lovely low contrast tops with very flowy, frilly, bowy styles. So while we were working together on a day intensive, I explained to Lisa how the way she was presenting herself was making her be seen as a very approachable feminine woman, which is just, as I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that takes away from her credibility. So we look at through all the elements of the presence that I shared with you at the beginning. I shared with her how she could use her body language in a way that she could be seen as a more credible woman. And then I also shared with her the colors, the style. And then once she understood all the elements, we were able to create a specific plan for her. A plan in which body language, colors, and style felt authentically her. So she had the knowledge, so she could pick what was going to work for her or what was going to be out of her comfort zone. So remember, this is not about changing who you are. This is you acquiring a new knowledge. This is a whole science on its own. This is a whole level of knowledge that you need to acquire. And then when you have the knowledge, you can say, okay, I'm going to do this. And this is like having a recipe. You know, you can do the recipe 27 million different ways. You just decide what feels good for you. So that is exactly what happens when you actually understand how you can use styles and colors, then and you body language, so you can create that strong presence that have you noticed. And what happened with Lisa is she was able to completely change how she was presenting herself and then how she was being perceived by her staff. So she was immediately more respected, more taken into account, no more meetings when people was thinking she was the PA. She had to run a meeting in which she had to let go some people, and she was easily and effortlessly carry herself in a confident way, doing what she had to do. So once you learn how to communicate in an efficient way and do that and command leadership through your image and your presence, then communications become so much easier. Then it is another testimonial of a client when she's saying, I'm not going to even go through the whole thing, but what she's saying there is a unique system, and that, you know, because I want you to understand this, even if you feel you have done a lot of personal development or you understand a little bit about your styles and colors, I want you to understand that there's so much more about this, and it's like a whole science in itself. And when you acquire this knowledge, it's something that you carry with yourself forever, and you can even communicate and share with your daughters, which is something that I've been finding lately that has been, I feel very, very happy about that. My clients are having the opportunity to learn something for themselves that is very unique and special, and that now they can share with their daughters. And for me, I feel I came to this planet to bring a big revolution in which women love and appreciate who they are, that instead of just being in front of the mirror, seeing all your faults and disliking parts of your body or disliking how you are coming across or doubting yourself, you are making a decision to stay authentic, to be relevant, to stop being lazy and being comfortable in a style that is not having you notice. And it was interesting as how in this event that I was last week, we had a special guest, Sam Zamora, who is a stylist for celebrities in Hollywood, but he works a lot with personal branding. He was saying something really funny, like, you're lazy. Like, have you become really lazy with your style? And I was thinking, oh my God, that's a very interesting way of describing it. Like, when we become so complacent with the way we're doing things, as I said at the beginning, when we become so comfortable that we stop growing. So what I want you to really understand is that how you come across to people matters. That how you look at yourself and how you feel has a great big connection, and it will affect all the results you have in your life. It will affect how you communicate. It will affect how you see yourself. And because if you see yourself one way, you're going to act one way. If you see yourself in a more confident way, you're going to act from that position, and that is going to impact how your clients, your colleague, your boss, how people see you. And I want you to be the woman that is bringing her best foot forward in all situations, that is being remembered, that woman that is remembered for being genuine, authentic, interesting, that you're creating a great look for yourself that is the best representation of your abilities and capabilities. And this is a process that actually has such a big element of mindset and getting to know yourself, because it's actually you getting to know yourself better. And once you get to know yourself better, you learn how to communicate in a very different way. So this is one of the reasons why I love so much what I do, because it's so much more deep than just changing your clothes or how you're doing your hair, your makeup. It just actually changes how you see yourself, how you see the world, and how you get results in life. So I actually trust that you have if you've never heard from me before, you have a new view on how you are perceiving or how you might be hiding behind those black clothes or bigger sizer clothes, or actually for a long time putting everyone else or everything else as a more important your scale of priorities. If you think that your style is so superficial, or that you can invest in education, or can invest in your family, or can invest in this and that, but you haven't given yourself the opportunity to invest in doing something for you that actually changes the way you see yourself and how you present yourself. So I would love to invite you to start looking at yourself in the mirror with more loving eyes, with more appreciation, to go through the information I share with you today and start thinking of what are the top 3 things you can start doing straight away to lift and make your presence a stronger presence, so you start being noticed. To make a commitment and a decision to yourself that you're not going to be more invisible, that you're going to stop doubting yourself, that you're going to start bringing that best foot forward and share with people who you are and what you have to offer. So as I said, I trust that I have inspired you to look a little bit deeper into how you are acting, behaving in regards to your style and your personal presence. And if this is something that resonates with you, and if you feel in your heart this is a process that you would like to explore a little bit further, as I said at the beginning, I have a super special invitation today that I will share with you briefly here now. And I want to take you on a journey to take action. Like, I know you might be inspired, thinking this was really cool, I should be doing something. Reality is we get with life, and life is busy, and we forget that we need to take action. So I want to invite you to dive a little bit more into this system that I created, that is a 7-pillar system in which I take you through all the elements you need to work on and learn a little bit more to create your style and personal brand that is standing out, that is lets people go like, wow, who is she? What is she about? And in a way that you are remembering memorable. So what I would love to invite you today is a VIP day intensive with me. So this full day can be done in person, over the phone, or on Skype, and it's a full day all for you, in which we're going to be working in all these elements that we share about today into so much more depth. So you will be able to understand your colors, your style, how are you coming across, what is your presence, what are the elements do we need to work on, how can you become more confident to stand out, and how can you start establishing yourself as a leader in your industry. And as I said, like, I have been doing this for over 7 years now, and all of my clients at the end of these experiences, they just go and look at themselves in the mirror in a different way, which you connect to your confidence. So we work for a full day. You will get access to my 7 system. So you will get the videos and the workbooks, which you will have access for a lifetime. But during the day, we sit down and we together work on how we develop that amazing impression, presence, and personal brand. I guide you through all the elements that I will give you my professional feedback, and we work on the elements that are the most relevant to you. We also have a follow-up call after the VIP intensive, so I can just help you go through all the questions and further implement anything that needs implementation. So as I say, you get your style portfolio, your color portfolio, your presence analysis. We work on your body language, your makeup. I draft. We talked before the VIP intensive, and I will be able to understand what are the areas that you need. The normal price for this VIP intensive is $2.5 Australian dollars. And for today, I have a very special offer of 20% off. So you can get your full day VIP intensive for 2,000 Australian dollars, which is estimated with the exchange rate of today, 1,500. So this is a super special opportunity to actually do something just for you, to position yourself as a leader in your industry, to position yourself as that confident woman who has a lot to offer in whatever is the industry that you are on, to do something just for yourself, to actually work on your confidence, and to just present yourself with confidence. This bonus is available the next 24 hours. So the package is usually $2.5 for the next 25 hours. You will have access to it for $2,000. And this is where you can find it. So you can go into this website, wownow.albagomez.com.au/1day. And this is the screen that you will get there. You will go to this page where it says Start for Smart Women, be a leader with power and confidence. And I had it here so I could send it to you. So hang on a second. I'm gonna send it here so you can have the link there on your chat. And then when you get to this screen, you go into the Buy Now button. If you click, you will get here to the discounted amount to 2,000, and here you enter your details and do the payment. So as I said, if this is something that resonates with you, that you want to embark on this journey, I am here with my arms open, excited to be working with you. Either way or another, if this is not something for you, that's fine too. I am here for any questions. You can go to the Wound Revolution. You can send me an email, but if you decide that this is for you, I couldn't be any more excited to have you with me on this journey. I trust you have gained some new insights. As I said, I encourage you to pick 3 things that you're going to start doing now to increase your visibility and your presence. And I look forward to seeing you at a next video or working one-on-one or at the group very soon. You have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.